The hidden strength of people who enjoy being alone. People love to judge. If you spend too much time alone, you're weird. You must be antisocial. Something must be wrong with you. Sound familiar? Good. Because today we're turning that judgment upside down. Being alone does not automatically make you lonely. It simply reveals a truth that many people struggle to accept. You don't need a crowd to be okay. And that makes some people uncomfortable, because many rely on noise to avoid themselves. They fear silence, so they distrust those who are at peace in silence. Modern life worships speed, message, notifications, constant activity. Everyone is expected to be busy, connected, part of a group. But there is another kind of person. They move against the current. They don't chase applause. They don't spend their lives trying to please everyone. They choose solitude, the way others choose a gym, a place to build something most people never develop, inner strength. Do you think people who enjoy being alone are weak? Not necessarily. In many cases, they are simply stronger than most people realize. And if you're one of those people, there's a good chance you've been misunderstood your entire life. That's okay. Don't rush to explain yourself. Just keep watching. Because today we're going to explore 5 hidden strengths of people who enjoy being alone, qualities that don't just make them different, but make them remarkably difficult to break. Strength 1. Deep devotion. People who enjoy being alone usually don't have a huge circle of friends. They aren't interested in surface-level socializing, the handshakes, the smiles, the photos, and then forgetting each other's names a week later. From the outside, they may seem distant. But that's only because you're measuring them by the standards of louder people. To them, relationships are not decorations. They are not tools to fill empty time. They are not a cure for boredom. Friendship and love are commitments. And commitments are not given away casually. Because their circle is small, their loyalty runs deep. They don't treat people like products to be tested and replaced. They observe. They take their time. They watch how you behave when there is nothing to gain. And when they finally allow you into their world, you stop being just another acquaintance. You become one of their people. Don't expect grand speeches from them. They express loyalty through actions. They show up when they say they will. They keep their word. They don't disappear when life gets difficult. And they rarely tolerate dishonesty. Not because they're harsh, but because they value truth. And they protect their energy from anything fake. Some people proudly say, "I have hundreds of contacts." People who enjoy solitude rarely brag about numbers. They may only have 3 close friends, but those 3 matter deeply. They won't betray them for convenience. They won't abandon them for a better opportunity. They won't trade loyalty for temporary rewards. If you've ever been trusted by someone like this, you understand that their trust feels like a privilege. It isn't given through luck. It's earned. And once a person who values solitude considers you one of their own, their loyalty becomes like steel, hard to bend, and even harder to break. Strength 2. Quiet self-assurance. Many people get this wrong. They assume silence means weakness. Avoiding crowds means fear. Preferring solitude means a lack of confidence. They're mistaken. People who enjoy being alone are not quiet because they have nothing to say. They're quiet because they don't need to speak just to prove they exist. They don't need to grab the microphone. They don't need to list their achievements. They don't need to perform for attention. They already know who they are. So they don't spend their lives seeking approval. Picture a crowded meeting. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to sound intelligent. Everyone is afraid of being overlooked. Then there's one person sitting quietly, listening, observing, filtering out the noise, not being pulled around by emotion, and when they finally speak, they aren't trying to win. They're trying to bring clarity. That's confidence without performance. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It simply stands firm, and people around it naturally adjust. You might call it presence, but it's not magic. It's the result of spending enough time with yourself to know exactly who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you need, and what you don't. People who enjoy solitude are also less afraid of judgment, because their value does not live in other people's opinions. One criticism doesn't ruin their day. One compliment doesn't inflate their ego. They understand that praise and criticism are both temporary. The wind changes. The mountain remains. And here's the part many people find uncomfortable. They don't need you to like them. They only need you to respect their boundaries. So they don't flatter. They don't manipulate. They don't chase approval with sweet words. They are direct. In a world that rewards noise, calm people are often mistaken for cold people, but the truth is simpler. They are not cold. They are just not cheap. And quiet self-assurance is a kind of strength that makes people listen even when you're not trying to be noticed. Strength 3. Comfortable with solitude. Most people are afraid of being alone. They say they love freedom, but if nobody texts them for a few hours, they become restless. They fill the silence with short videos, endless scrolling, drama, or a packed social calendar. Not because they're truly busy, because they're afraid of hearing their own thoughts. People who enjoy solitude are different. They don't run from silence. They use it as a place to recover. To them, a quiet room is not empty. It's clean. It's space to breathe. They can eat alone without feeling embarrassed. They can take a walk without needing company. They can sit quietly, write a few thoughts, reflect on life, and feel completely at ease. That isn't loneliness. It's self-possession. And once you're comfortable with silence, you gain something incredibly rare. You no longer depend on other people to regulate your emotions. You don't need someone to calm you down. You don't need someone to rescue you. You can settle your own mind. You can recharge your own batteries. That makes you difficult to manipulate, because manipulation depends on fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of being disliked. Fear of being alone. But what happens when someone is already comfortable being alone? Threatening to leave no longer has the same power. For them, solitude is not punishment. It's normal. Solitude also creates clarity. When you're no longer drowning in noise, you can hear the important questions. What do I actually want? Where am I going? Am I living according to my values or someone else's expectations? Most people avoid these questions because they force honesty. People who enjoy solitude face them regularly. That's why they become stronger. Some may call them quiet. Some may call them reserved. But don't misunderstand them. They don't lack social energy. They simply use their energy intentionally, and that ability to feel at peace in silence is one of the hidden strengths that makes them far more resilient than most people realize. Strength 4. Respect for time. Money can be earned again. A reputation can be rebuilt. But time, once it's gone, it's gone. Yet many people throw away their time as if it costs nothing. They gossip. They argue about meaningless things. They answer messages they don't want to answer, just to avoid being disliked. They attend events they don't want to attend, simply because they're afraid of feeling left out. People who enjoy being alone usually don't do that. Not because they're selfish, because they understand something important. Time is an asset. And people who waste their assets eventually become poor. Poor in energy, poor in willpower, and poor in life. They are selective. They ask themselves, is this meeting worth my time? Will this person make my life better? Is this project worthy of my effort? If the answer is no, they walk away. They don't feel the need to write a long explanation. They don't apologize for protecting their schedule. When they give you their time, it isn't casual. It is a choice, because they are perfectly comfortable being alone. So if they choose to spend time with you, it means you bring something meaningful into their life: kindness, depth, safety, or a conversation worth having. This is what many highly social people fail to understand. People who enjoy solitude aren't lacking friends. They're simply unwilling to waste their lives. They know the cost of being physically present while mentally absent. That's why when they spend time with someone, they're usually fully there. They aren't scrolling through their phones while pretending to listen. They aren't nodding just to be polite. They aren't faking interest. Respect for time also helps them move further in life. While others spend 3 hours in empty conversations, they use those same 3 hours to learn, train, read, create, or rest properly. From the outside, they may appear slower. They're not. They simply refuse to follow the crowd. They move carefully. They go deeper. And in the long run, they go farther. If you're someone who enjoys being alone, don't let anyone pressure you into constant socializing just to seem normal. Protecting your time doesn't make you difficult. It makes you mature. And over time, it becomes one of the reasons you move ahead, not because you're more talented, but because you refuse to waste your life. Strength 5: Strong boundaries. These days, people are encouraged to share everything. If they're happy, they post it. If they're sad, they post it. If they're struggling, they post it. And anyone who keeps things private is often labeled closed off. But people who enjoy being alone possess a skill that social media rarely rewards. They know how to protect their privacy and maintain strong boundaries. They understand a simple truth. Not everyone deserves access to their personal life. Not everyone is trustworthy enough to enter their world. And not everything needs to be put on display. Some things lose value when they're exposed. Some emotions become vulnerable when they're over-explained. People who enjoy solitude can be friendly, polite, and kind, but they still have a gate, and not everyone gets through it. Trust must come first. Because of that, they avoid many unnecessary problems: nosy people, judgmental people, controlling people, and people who constantly drain energy. Boundaries are not cold walls. They are fences around a garden. Without a fence, anyone can walk across the flowers. With a fence, you choose who enters. People who enjoy being alone build those fences with awareness, not bitterness. Strong boundaries also protect them from drama. They feel less pressure to explain themselves. They are less vulnerable to guilt-based manipulation. It's difficult to make them feel indebted through emotional games, because they quickly recognize the difference between genuine care and emotional transactions. And this is what makes them powerful. They don't need everyone to understand them. They only need the right people. Everyone else is simply not that important. Once you have boundaries, you stop living to please everyone. You start living to protect your peace. And if a person who values solitude allows you into their inner world, that is never a small thing. They are handing you a key, and people with strong boundaries do not hand out keys carelessly. They give them to people who know how to value them. The modern world is addicted to noise. It fills every silence with sound, every free hour with appointments, every quiet moment with notifications. Because when you become truly silent, you start seeing the truth. And the truth makes many people uncomfortable. But people who enjoy solitude are different. They don't fear silence. They use it as a training ground, a place where inner strength is built. They develop deep loyalty toward people who truly matter. They carry a quiet confidence that doesn't need attention. They know how to recover and recharge in solitude. They treat time like a valuable asset and spend it intentionally, and they set boundaries like mature adults without asking anyone's permission. So if you recognize yourself in these qualities, stop asking, "Is something wrong with me?" Ask a better question. Am I using this gift wisely? Because being alone does not make you weak. Running from yourself does. If you'd like more videos like this, let me know in the comments. I choose stillness. And remember to like and subscribe for more practical Stoic insights and powerful lessons on inner strength. Because in a world that never stops talking, the ability to be at peace with yourself may be one of the greatest strengths you can develop.